Stevens goes in lane 1, the 30-year-old. Don't get to see her too often on the Diamond League circuit. Brie Rizzo, the Australian, and like the South Africans, already had a big season, equalled her personal best in Perth at the Australian Championships, where she finished 3rd. And again, a couple of Americans we don't see loads of necessarily, but Cabrera Sturgis is going to be in lane 3. Is in pretty good form, 10.98. That's her quickest for 3 years. That was in the States earlier this month. And then Shericka Barnes had a great indoor season last year. She was actually 3rd in the Diamond League in Doha at the beginning of last season, looking to get the Diamond League season off to a good start here. Won the national championships at 60 meters indoors, so no doubt Barnes will get out quickly. Not sure what to expect from Shericka Jackson, the great world champion. Not sure she's yet in the sort of form where we haven't seen her over 100 meters yet this season. As such, she was 2nd in the Diamond League in China over 200. And then Zoe Hobbs, we've got 3 or 4 people here who are at the World Indoors. Zoe Hobbs, one of them, the New Zealander, was 6th in the final there. Again, had a very good indoor season. Maya McCoy, well, she took a chance, won the kind of international race in Doha before the Diamond League. Then we had a withdrawal, and she had got to race twice there, and is in good form. It says Liberia, I'm told, I think that she's going to go back to running for the USA, or wants to. She accepted the chance to run for Liberia, but now wants to go back on that, getting close to 11 seconds. Now, Jasia Sears, watch out for her. Again, another great indoor runner. Sadly, injury last year after running 10.77 early in the year meant that we didn't see the best of her for the rest of 24. And then Rani Rosius of Belgium in lane 9. So the quick starters, you've got Sears in 8. Can she turn that into a big 100 meters here? Zoe Hobbs gets out quickly as well. Barnes the same. What are we going to see from Shericka Jackson right in the middle? The biggest name in this 100 meters, but is she going to be quick enough at this stage of her season? And what about McCoy? New name on the circuit to many, and her chance to show what she can do in this sort of company. So Jackson right in the middle. In lane 5, Barnes and Sturgis are the 2 Americans in 4 and 3 next to her. Hobbs in the yellow, then McCoy, Jasia Sears and Rosius closest to the camera. Women's 100 meters.
Sir.
Oh, a really good start from Barnes, and Sturgis got away quickly as well, and these two with half yard, although Barnes is beginning to go back. Shericka Jackson coming through the middle. Jasia Sears is going to be close as well. It's going to be tight on the line. Jackson might just get there. She does. McCoy storms through for 2nd. Well, we said we weren't sure what to expect from Shericka Jackson, and it's good to see. We want our big stars coming and running well. She doesn't look too happy, does she? But that was an emphatic win in the end. Not super quick. It's a warm evening here and a little breeze behind the sprinters, but 11.04, a good start for Jackson. 2 or 3 others got out of the blocks better, but by 50 meters she was certainly co-leading and then went on to take it, Tim.
Yeah, she did. I mean, actually a brilliant start, and you called it, from Shericka Barnes. Look there in the headband, 4th from right, but it's almost like she just lost her rhythm there, and the power of Shericka Jackson, she carried on accelerating. They hit their top speed at around 70 meters, these sprinters. She just holds her form there. Look at that really symmetrical, beautiful looking balance. Coming through strongly on the near side, McCoy in the all black does well there, just easing out Jasia Sears, who takes a 3rd spot, a season's best for her, the same as the winner, Shericka Jackson. But yeah, Shericka Jackson very, very sober, Steve. I think she probably knows full well that there's a bigger fish to be caught later in the season. Much, much bigger fish.
I think she'll be pleased with that. Below 2 meters per second. Late opportunity here for Maya McCoy, American who now runs for Liberia. Not sure if she's been cleared of the major champs yet, but close to 11 seconds this year in Florida already. What a season Van der Weyken from Luxembourg's had. Bronze medal at the World Indoor Championships. Really good starter, as you would think from that. Now we've got the two fastest twins in the world, the Clayton twins. This is Tia, who's kind of overtaken her sister Tina, who started their career probably the quicker the better, if you like, but Tia's the one to look out for. That World Indoor title, second one for Majinga Kambunji in Nanjing, when maybe thought others would get there, but her experience so important. And talking about experience, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, perhaps the greatest female sprinter of all time. You can argue that one till late in the night anywhere, if you like, but two-time Olympic champion, multiple world champion. Zoe Hobbs of New Zealand next to her in lane 6. Then Amy Hunt of Great Britain. Many of these athletes were in China for the World Relays. And here is twin number 2. Well, those would be two twins, isn't it? Otherwise it'd be triplets. Tina Clayton of Jamaica in lane 8. Well, Shelley's been here most of the week, has been enjoying her time in Doha, been with lots of young athletes and in the schools, and they've really enjoyed having her here. You know, this is part of the farewell tour, if you like. What a career it's been, but I'm pretty sure she still wants to win. She's burning to win. So Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in lane 5, Kambunji in 4. Watch out for the Claytons in 3 and 8. Van der Weyken in 2 as well. Kambunji gets a much better start than Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and also going well is Tia Clayton. Tia Clayton's just got this one at the moment. Van der Weyken is close. It's going to be very tight on the line, but Clayton's going to get this. It's Tia Clayton, 10.92. Well, I said she's been running very well, and she's overtaken her sister career-wise, but now she's overtaking everybody else, and in fact, her sister may have just nicked second place on this side. Fraser-Pryce tried to get involved in the end. Van der Weyken faded in the last 20 meters or so. Quickest in the world this year, and look at the wind reading. Exactly 2 meters per second, so it will be legal. We'll wait to see this photo finish. What did you make it, Chris?
It was very, very tight, wasn't it? But it's a Jamaica 1-2-3. That we know. Clayton from Clayton. In fact, Amy Hunt, just coming up, has been given 3rd. Let's look at it again. But you're absolutely right. Tia Clayton gets out brilliantly. 3rd from right. Already leaving Kambunji behind. Then Fraser-Pryce comes back into it. And then Tina Clayton on the near side. But did Amy Hunt just sneak 3rd?
Well, if she did, that was phenomenal. That would be a
World Relays next week, but she's got this today.
This is Favor Afili, represents Nigeria. She's the indoor and outdoor record holder at 200 meters. She was a finalist in Paris as well.
Yeah, one of those great Dennis Shaver sprint crew sprinters. There's Brittany Brown, bronze in Paris. That's hard to say. Brittany Brown, bronze.
Beep, beep, beep.
Well, I'm going to say it once, not 3 times fast. She's in lane 3. She is a racer. That means she's hired with the group. She's the home team.
This is Melissa Jefferson Wooden, recently married. She's the bronze medalist at 100 meters from Paris and the current slam winner in the short sprints.
Lane 5's Daryl Nita made the finals of the 100 and the 200 in Paris, 4th and 5th, so close. So this fits her. She's going to race both those here, and she's quick in both events.
One of the biggest stars in our sport. This is Gabby Thomas. 3 gold medals in Paris. Won the long sprint slam. The crowd appreciating her right now and is stepping down to challenge Melissa Jefferson Wooden in the short sprints.
One of those athletes that folks come to see for sure. Tamari Davis, world champion, gold medal in a 4x1 in Budapest for Team USA.
And rounding out the field, this is Jaisha Sears. This is her first year pro. She's a 5-time NCAA finalist for the University of Tennessee. She's gone 10.77 legal. She's on the outside, but she's definitely someone to watch.
And this is a track that has produced a lot of really fast 100-meter times for the women. Don't blink or you miss it. Steve Graham, talk fast.
Actually, Thomas got a reasonable start, but right there in the middle, Jefferson Wooden looks as though she's got this one at the moment, but also going well as Tamara Davis. But it's going to be Jefferson Wooden who's going to take this one. Oh, not by much, but she gets it. Ooh, that, let's look at the time. What is going on in Miami? 10:75. We look for the wind. It's illegal, sadly for her. The first race where it's been over the limit. Well, it was close for her in terms of a legal 10:75. That would have been phenomenal. The win. What about Tamara Davis? Just right there, just 400ths behind. Ophelia under 11 seconds, Thomas under 11 seconds, Sears under 11 seconds. Sensational sprinting.
I don't really care. If I'm a woman and I run 10:7, I don't care what the wind is. It's up on the clock, man. But allowable in your mind.
Yes.
Out of the blocks, you could see Gabby just popped straight up, and when that happened, I knew she wasn't going to be able to accelerate through with the rest of the women. But technically, Melissa Jefferson is very, very solid. She came out of her dry phase very smoothly, let her head come up by itself, and transitioned into her top speed, which is really good right now, as we saw from her 200 meters. As you can see, like I mentioned, allowing her head to come up, not bringing it up. And because of that, she's able to transfer what she did out of the blocks into her acceleration, get into her top speed, maintain through the line. A little bit rolly with her arms coming through the latter part of the finish.
Yeah.
She'll look
like
back
an
at that.
extension with the arms.
She'll look back at that and want to make some adjustments. But overall, you run 10:7, wasn't technically sound, confident, and going into the deuce. I mean, Gabby's going to want revenge, but she's got some confidence with this 100-meter bounce after running 10:7.
I mean, Tamara Davis is already having a good season. I was looking at her. She'll probably be thinking, if I can run this at the 100, my 200 isn't going to be too bad either. So, what a what a series of sprints.
Yeah.
10:75.
From her 200 meters. As you can see, like I mentioned, allowing her head to come up, not bringing it up. And because of that, she's able to transfer what she did out of the blocks into her acceleration, get into her top speed, maintain through the line. A little bit rolly with her arms coming through the latter part of the finish.
Yeah.
She'll look
like
back
an
at that.
extension with the arms.
She'll look back at that and want to make some adjustments. But overall, you run 10:7, wasn't technically sound, confident, and going into the deuce. I mean, Gabby's going to want revenge, but she's got some confidence with this 100-meter bounce after running 10:7.
I mean, Tamara Davis is already having.
Melissa, 10:75. There was a lot of emotion after that race. Talk about it.
You know, I've just been working so hard. I've been focusing on Melissa. You know, a lot of times I come out here, I step on the line every single time, and sometimes it's just not enough for everyone around. But this year, I'm focusing on what I can do, leading on the people around me to know that they know what I'm capable of. And now it's just my turn to showcase that to the world.
You started off Kingston with the win. You came to Miami. You got the win. How does it feel going into that 200?
Oh, it feels amazing. You know, I'm excited. Less anxiety coming into this 200 versus the last one.
Wagwan, my Jamaican family, and once again welcome back to the Yadi Reacts. If it is for the first time you are checking me out, kindly subscribe, like and share to my YouTube channel. And to my returning subscribers, I do want to say thank you very much for the love and support you are always giving on to me. Whereby today, guys, our video analyzes the evolving rivalry in women's 100 meter sprinting between Jamaica and the United States during the 2025 season. It highlights three major races that illustrate the shift from a single dominant athlete to a broader, more tactical battle between nations and generations. Here we dive in onto the highlights by Rabat, Morocco. Shericka Jackson returned from injury to secure an authoritative win, 11.04. Despite an aggressive start by American Celera Barnes, Jackson displayed clinical rhythm and composure to dominate the race, signaling that her championship's form remains intact. And to the Doha, Qatar, the narrative shifted to succession as the legendary sprinter Shelly Ann Fraser-Price competed against rising star Tia Clayton, claimed the victory with a 10.92 seconds, proving the depth of Jamaica's next generation while confirming the continuity of their sprint excellence. And there was the Miami, USA, whereby the United States asserted its strength with Melissa Jefferson Wooden who won in an explosive 10.75 seconds. Wind assisted her performance against a stacked field, highlighted the US strategy of utilizing speed density to challenge the Jamaican benchmark. And to it, we dive into the rivalry dynamics, whereby Jamaica relies on structural depth and the bridge between experienced icons and fearless newcomers like Clayton. United States focused on raw speed density with multiple athletes compatible of elite sub 10.90 times on any given day. And to the rivalry has transitioned from symbolic to tactical, with the momentum currently shared between Kingston and the United States. Here we look at who is the current Jamaican sprint star. If you might be asking yourself onto that, the video highlights a few key athletes who represent the current generation of Jamaicans sprinting. One of them is Clayton, a rising star, 20-year-old star who demonstrated her potential by winning the 100-meter in Doha, or currently we can say she is 21. She is described as representing Jamaica's fearless new generation, executing a strong drive face and rhythm. And Shericka Jackson, a reigning world champion who returned from an injury-disrupted 2024 season to secure a dominant victory in Rabat. She is noted for her clinical authoritative control on the track. And Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, the Mommy Rocket, recognized as a generational icon and one of the most decorated sprinters in history, who continues to compete at an elite level. And how does wind speed affect sprint records? In track and field, wind speed plays a critical role in determining whether a sprint performance is eligible to be ratified as an official record, because a strong tailwind can significantly reduce air resistance and push an athlete forward, providing an unfair advantage over races run in calm or headwind conditions. Strict regulations are in place to ensure fairness. And to the regulations, we have the limit, whereby for sprint performance up to 200 meters to be considered wind legal and eligible for record status, any assisting tailwind must not exceed plus 2.0 meters per second. And to the record validity, if the wind gauge records reading higher than plus 2.0 meters per second, the time achieved, no matter how fast, cannot be officially recognized as a national or world record. And to the standardization, these measurements are taken using certified wind gauge placed beside the track, while a race with an excessive tailwind is still valid for the competition result and athlete ranking within that specific event. The performance is disqualified from record consideration to maintain the integrity of the sport's historic benchmark, which I think that's very much fair. And with what makes the US sprint team dangerous? The United States women's sprint team is considered particularly dangerous in the current season due to its speed density. Unlike relying on a single dominant runner, the US squad boasts a deep roster of multiple athletes capable of delivering sub 10.90 second performances in the 100 meter on any given day. On to the key factors contributing to this threat include: one of them is the explosive precision, whereby the team focuses on raw aggression, sharp transitions, and commanding finishes, as demonstrated by Melissa Jefferson Wooden in Miami. On to the depth and competition, with stars like Gabby Thomas, Tamari Davis, and Jeshia Sears. The internal competition forces athletes to perform at their peak to secure a spot on the podium. On to the aggressive racing style, American sprinters are noted for attacking the race from the start, as seen with Celera Barnes in Rabat and Jefferson Wooden in Miami, aiming to dictate the narrative of the race early on. And how does Jamaica compare to the US team? The 2025 season has highlighted a shift in the women's 100-meter characterized by a transcontinental rivalry between Jamaica and the United States, whereby each nation brings a distinct strategic strength to the track. And Jamaica's structural depth, Jamaica relies on a blend of experienced legends and emerging talent. They have established a clear path of succession from the calculated dominance of Shericka Jackson to the fearless energy of young star like Tia Clayton. Their approach emphasizes long-term consistency and maintaining their legacy of excellence. US speed density. In contrast, the United States team utilizes a roster packed with multiple athletes compatible of elite sub 10.90 seconds performances on any time given day. Their style is built on raw aggression, explosive start, and high intensity competition, as evidenced by Melissa Jefferson Wooden's performance in Miami. And ultimately, the rivalry has moved from being symbolic to tactical, with momentum feeling shared between the two nations for the first time in years. And you know what defines the Jamaican sprint style? Just to dive in onto it, the Jamaican sprint style, as highlighted in the video, is defined as structural depth and generational continuity. Rather than relying on a single athlete, the Jamaican approach is built on legacy of excellence that seamlessly bridges the gap between legendary icons and rising talents here, whereby the key and the characteristics of this style include calculated dominance, whereby athletes like Shericka Jackson showcase a clinical measured control. Her performance in Rabat demonstrated an ability to remain composed during the transition phase and exert authority once reaching top speed. And to the fearless transition, a young sprinter like Tia Clayton embody a fearless drive phase and maintain high level acceleration, proving that the Jamaican production line of talent remains intact. And to the championship rhythm, Jamaican sprinters are described as athletes who understand how to pace themselves through the various phases of a race: start, transition, and finish to maintain momentum and achieve victory. So guys, that leads us to the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed the video from the start to the end, and I would love to know whatever you think about this amazing video. Let's come around, share our thoughts throughout the comment section so we can get to interact and know what you think, and mainly because your opinion does matters to us every day. Thank you very much guys for following up the video with me. I was your host, Yadi Reacts. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe, like, and share to my YouTube channel. And to my returning subscribers, I'd want to say thank you very much for the love and support you are always giving unto me. Always remember to link me up through my next videos. All I'd want to say is peace out there.